I invite comments, questions, interaction. It is any of these like. Yeah. Please. Mike, give them.
I really like my represented and students show voice any other media governments. I had interviews and voice. I'm very thinking in material. This is because know that it's not even changing. And then there is a boys are not going to in this business students staying here, in schools. Actually, this is that business. For the business, the girls it. So I think one has to analyze the motivational structures coming out of these tasks and beauty structures and how boys are girls different. Position one of them very different in relation to medium of construction. And so it's like how the school is. One very encouraging fact, and I'm also surprised by it, when the show that the English medium in this EMI section of government, I do as well as sometimes better than the private English medium schools. I'm also surprised by that. Also, they don't want to care. But that's kind of very, very intense.
Thank you. Yes, go. Would you like to respond to that?
Yeah. I have a question, but that's a quick observation of these people. So, taking us the historical steps which place education area, especially from the 1990s. And makes a lot of sense as they think about considering tell us that now I think we have realize that primary strengthened and that can still see relevant from the primary and secondary education. We take a lot of time on the workforce, not only focusing on the high skilled participants, so anyway we'll make it to the top work product, which is the case of the but it's time for us to stabilize, and the starting point might be extended in that time. Second observation takes reflection. One is everything when we look at it critically at the fact that Malayalam reading is at what level in English. I find that I love my preparations from multilingual. So I think we should critically look at that and maybe look at the data and see whether it is really the case, or is it like especially the reading of texts at the sentence and text level in the answer of this. That's one. And the second one, I'm going to think about yes, sure. And points. So I like that comment on the slide where it shows that students from English medium and aided schools, government and aided, are choosing to respond to the Malayalam test rather than English. I think that's very reassuring. Because there is a lot of theorization to show us that if the academic skills are well developed, we learn a stronger language. Chances are it comes out of the So the fact that they are choosing to respond on the Malayalam test in place in English, I think it's a very, very reassuring figure. And I should try and strengthen our multilingual education, taking into purposes learners with needs and what they are able to in their local language and take it forward the unique.
I think we can take just one more question, then come to.
We mentioned that such the schools have data at some stage. Just that because it's cross-functional data is in that or is it just that the older the rules were able to develop. Now we are seeing more updates in the classes. And there is also a suspicion because there is a station. And it's also about the schools and it's exactly this area explaining something to related to that I they possibly will not able to spend a lot of things they do. There were also some and background for things like that. The other thing that you mentioned that education was not interesting for social and sensation for individual people. Who are very now it's for individual job was for social emancipation. And I can just like say this is the chances of that way of seeing. I think the income of the other. The same past can make us very
Okay, thank you. I'm sorry, that's the last question because we just here running out of time. Yes, somebody want to. If you can make your question very short.
There's a why is divided between children of social media. The teachers teaching we should also not tell because
Thank you. Yeah. We come back to the comments. There is one question online, so please read it.
So the question is, isn't it important to evaluate the government teachers constantly? For there are new generations coming up, and most importantly, these are information of kids, and some teaching methods have already become fugitive.
It's open to you. Shall we begin? Yeah. So I'll just take several of the questions together, and I'm sure my colleagues will also respond. First, I want to just emphasize the next session is going to bring some classroom realities based on more detail. One school observation and then teacher planner. So this will supplement what we have said at the macro level. Just responding to a few, I think that several people have said it's reassuring to know that children want to answer the test in Malayalam. Yes, it can be called reassuring, but on the other hand, and this discussion I've had Suraj many times, when we're showing how many children can read proficiently at grade 5, grade 6, and so on, remember it's the grade 2 text. So it's not they're reading at their grade level. And after 5 years of studying in English medium, they still feel it's easier to read in Malayalam. Okay, I don't know what that shows, but I don't think it necessarily shows their greater confidence in Malayalam. It's just maybe they're just not being taught well about English. Right. And then so I think that's an important caveat that we have to always remember. And the fact is, there isn't much data about how much can children read. We know when they reach grade 10, many of them cannot read. Right? Either Malayalam or English. We know that when we recruit people, when we talk to people, everybody knows it. It's like a family, dirty family secret in Kerala. Everybody knows this is true, but we mustn't talk about it publicly because, what will happen to the image of the state or something like that. So I think we need more information, whether it is qualitative or quantitative, to discuss the reality. I want to talk about the social mobilization. Yes, there's a tendency in Kerala to glorify our past and say not only the past but even the present, because we're always comparing ourselves to Bihar and saying how much better we are. But I agree, maybe I overstated it, that it's for social emancipation. But as Professor Jamila mentioned, we had a seminar last week about the social reform period of the early 20th century. It was sort of maybe astonishing for me, but it was very clear. Education was very central to all the reforms. Okay. And they were not talking about only for jobs, but that this is important for status, for dignity, for liberating the mind, and so on. And I think that spawned a very big movement in Kerala for theatre, libraries, literacy classes at the community level. People weren't doing it just for jobs, but they felt it was important for the society to be enlightened in some ways. Even if you see something like Kerala Shastra Sahitya Parishad, it's like it's not for jobs. It's that science should be known to everyone. So naturally, I think there is that impact. In fact, one of the speakers mentioned that one of the reformers talked about the need for having knowledge of Raj Bhasha, Rajya Bhasha, Doli Bhasha, and I think it was some Kriti Bhasha or something about your culture you were saying. But all these are necessary because they have a space in different things. Now that relates also to what Professor Veeramani said. It is, I think, part of the reason why Kerala had this success was because everybody got educated. And so a lot of people could go abroad for even skilled and semi-skilled work, not just the professionals. And that was unique to Kerala because it was there was mass education. So we didn't have industrialization in Kerala, but our labor force could go and work in a range of jobs in the Gulf, right? Because there was mass primary education and elementary education by the 80s. And so the problem of unemployment was, in a way, that kind of mass unemployment was addressed by the Gulf migration. That in itself then created other pressures in education, which I think have been dealt with at a policy level.
Thank you, Sajida. One or two comments that I would like to add to what Sajida has said. This is particularly in relation to reading. As an English teacher, I always feel that reading is related to comprehension. Why do you read if you do not know to understand what you are reading? The way in which this analysis was done about words and letters and things like that, I do not know if that is the right kind of assessment that can be done on the reading capability of students. I think perhaps that is one of the policies that we should be thinking about, not seeing reading as separate from comprehension and understanding. And another point that I would like to raise is about artificial intelligence. Of course, it is only an emerging scientific tool that is coming into the market. But one of the things that in education, I was told artificial intelligence helps the teacher to individually sort of make a connection with the student. In our large classrooms, it is always difficult. But with artificial intelligence, perhaps we would be able to understand the strength and weakness of an individual student and accordingly be able to do something for them. And I think multilingualism, bilingualism, all this will become perhaps more credible. And even the assessment and in terms of grading, in terms of continuous assessment and grading that artificial intelligence can perhaps help us with. But of course, this is only in the initial stages, and let us hope that it will be a part of our education system.
Three very quick comments. One, Vinitha, your point about needing to know the dynamics. So this was only men. Now we have to make sense of why these patterns are. And I think we have to therefore go into some kind of economic class dynamics, caste dynamics, and gender dynamics. Asar doesn't have any of them. Doesn't with the nature of social group data. So yes, these are the only men as a teaser. Going forward, and in talking about teasers, one thing which I didn't mention in terms of gender, that last slide about choosing, turns out boys choose English more than girls, even though they perform less, but they choose more, right? And again, stereotypes come to mind, bravado or I don't know what, but I think a lot of this needs impact. So I think this is meant only. As a substitute because the literature is so kind of ill developed, as I think you mentioned. So I think these seminars should be seen also as a way to kind of get into more depth. And so the dynamic completely absent in this kind of analysis for sure. Lena, your point about is it reassuring? And Sajid also kind of I think we need a larger discussion. It appears reassuring that these English medium kids are choosing to take Malayalam. But what does it mean? As we said that so many years. Imagine the anxiety that the kid must be going through. For all that, you're still having to choose it, right? I mean, it's probably not. There's some kind of cognitive dissonance reduction. I don't know. Probably lots of psycho-emotional issues kind of at stake there. So maybe too early to say reassuring. I can see why. In one kind of world, it's reassuring that a world where one language skill is now kind of transforming, right? In the best traditions of multilinguality. But that may not be the reality. I read it actually as disturbing. More, and that's also probably unfair. And very briefly, I think Kagu's point about the past and how does one understand that kind of the universal. I think I think the point is important. We need to probably go back and kind of pin down the history of the sources. But I think there is enough scattered kind of literature, right? On Sridhar Guru and these missionaries and Michael Thurgan has written extensively and many others. So my sense of that historical literature is that there was and of course cases in the leftist literature that now whether we can call it, I think Jagu took exception to maybe that phrase, social emancipation as the goal. I think that's a call to maybe go back and see. My own superficial reading is there's some element of that then compared to now, but that needs strengthening. I think but I think a useful project to understand the present, right? But then we need to maybe do that at work. I think that's a good kind of call to be more realistic. Yeah, thanks.
Okay. I think in there's not much really that I will add to already really pointed out, but I do hope that the young researchers here they take cognizance of the fact of what they could research on. And we will find more studies that are emerging, not just on student proficiency, but also on question paper analysis or assessment that is being done. It may be that students are talking to. So just now saying, it could be that Malayalam, answering in Malayalam might be considered to be more mark friendly And maybe that could be a reason why they choose it, that it is, maybe assessed. We need to find these statistics. There's not enough data on it to comment. The other part of AI, and you're right that AI could do individualized, personalized assessment, but the fact is that should language classrooms be focused on accuracy, which largely seems to be the whole focus, and if you are having communicative, collaborative, critical literacy kind of skills, would the AI models be able to demonstrate it? We have tutor AI and so on, so that are being built. We need to be very cognizant about these and be very careful that we don't get into the same kind of rote memorization techniques and strategies that we have been articulating our discomfort with by using AI. So it should not become a solution to a problem that did not exist and that we have now created. So I think that should be something that we should worry about also. And there's not enough, again, data and research on this.
Ready now? What do you want them to like that? Yeah.
As we are behind schedule, please get back after tea in 10 minutes. Tea is served outside. I've also been told that we are not allowed to bring cups inside. So please have your tea outside. And thank you for such an engaging discussion.